and posted a video a couple of weeks ago, and I said I was going to come back and do another video because I have a lot to talk about regarding the Passport Brothers movement and how I see it as a sort of an OG Passport brother myself. I've had my passport for probably 8 years now, and I've made several long haul trips to Southeast Asia to see my fiance. So the idea of flying to another country to find someone to be with someone that you care about is not new to me, and it, quite frankly, is not a new concept whatsoever. I've worked for a long time in the Vietnamese community, and my roommate back in 2014 until 2020 was from Taiwan. And the thing that they had in common was my roommate, he did not date local women, whether they were Chinese or not, or Taiwanese or not. He dated women online back in Taiwan. And what I soon learned in the Vietnamese community was that the Vietnamese American men who had, come to the United States or were born in the United States because their parents came over after the war, they too, when it came to time to marry, many of them went back to Vietnam to find a suitable traditional wife. And what I also learned was that this was not, exclusive to, Taiwan and Vietnam. It's also the same with the Chinese. It's also the same with the Japanese. And it's also the same with a lot of hyphenated, naturalized citizens in the United States who the men have identified a problem with the thinking of women and the modernization of women's ideas of relationship, and they have decided that they don't want to partake in that. So my first instinct when I hear people, saying that either one, this movement was started by black men because there's this big divide between black men and black women. My first gut response is like, no, it's not. This has been going on for a long time. My second response is that we are actually kind of late to the game, but we're in a position where we can gain the most because while we have problems with how our black women see us, the world sees black men in a very different way. And it's much more positive. It's much more productive, and it's much more a place of reverence. They look at what we've created in spite of that hardship. Just look at hip hop music, which is the number one music in the world. Look at hip hop dancing, which is the number one dance style in the world. That was created by black men in the inner cities, and now it's global, it's worldwide. I live in a community now where we're mostly, I'm surrounded by mostly, Filipinos, Chinese, Korean, Indian, and a few Caucasians and some black folks, and I hear rap music playing all the time. And I smile to myself because I grew up at a time where the world looked at rap music with such disdain, and such hatred, and such ignorance because they didn't realize where it was coming from. But now that people understand that came from the underbelly of the ghettos and the fight to get out of that and create something to rise above that, it's kind of like the song of a generation, or the musical style of a generation. We've far surpassed rock and roll. We've far surpassed goth music and punk rock and all those things. Hip hop music is at the top of the charts, and it's because hip hop and R&B music are at the top of the charts, and it's because um, of the struggles of African American men. And so that always makes me happy. And then when I am able to travel abroad to see my fiance, I'm able to witness this firsthand, where some of the things that I have to deal with here locally in the States, I'm able to kind of let my hair down, so to speak, or just kind of relax and enjoy the cultures that I'm surrounded by. So the Passport Brothers movement is not a movement that was started by Black men, but it's a movement that's particularly powerful and productive for Black men who are now starting to understand our worth and our value to society. And we're starting to put ourselves first and understand that when we get back into our natural place of being leaders, that the women that appreciate what we have to offer are out there. They may not be local, but they're out there. And so I'm excited to be in, OG Passport Brother. And I have some exciting news that's going to be coming up in the next 45 days, and I'll be talking more about that, when I get a chance. But I just want to give out much props to all of the YouTubers and the content creators who are out there, pushing the message to young Black men to, stay on their game, stay on your hustle, put yourselves first, go ahead and work on yourself, get your lives together, get your education together, get your jobs together, get your side hustles together, and stop tripping out and freaking out over women, because that stuff, it'll be over before you know it, and you'll be on to the next one. I think it's important that we continue to spread this message. I think it's important that we continue to remind young Black men that there are options out there that they have access to, and all they need to do is go get your passport. And just make sure you guys know that, I'm legit. Got my passport, and I got my global entry so that I can skip the lines when I'm coming back from overseas. So, don't let some of these women out here wear you down. Don't let them trip you up. Don't let them get you off your game. Get you behind to the gym, which is what I need to be doing again. And man, I mean, you don't have to go out there looking for a wife. You can go out there, just look for someone to have a good time with, long term, short term, what have you. But someone who will appreciate what you have to offer as a man. And, if you find yourself surrounded by trifling ass gold diggers and, mixed up women and folks who completely overvalue themselves or their sexual market value, just move on. Move on. You don't have to get hung up on one person. There are a lot of women who appreciate it, appreciate a good Black man. And, I'm happy to say that my fiance is one of them. She's Vietnamese. And, I'll be seeing her again really soon. And but I'm going to be retiring in Vietnam after kids get out of high school. But long story short, I am grateful for so many YouTube creators. There's MTR, there's Charge in Charge, there's the Average Man Unplugged, Of course, there's Kevin Samuels, and there's a few other guys who are out there who I watch quite often. And I want to spread a message of positivity to the young man that you don't have to be bitter, you don't have to be angry, you don't have to, sulk and be ready to attack all the time. If you can't teach an old dog new tricks, then you leave that dog alone and you go find somebody else. So for the women who aren't getting it, who don't understand what's happening, and especially for the women who refuse to change and they want to hold on to these materialistic values, let them do their thing. There's always going to be a few simps out there. When those folks run out, it's like they say, the wall is undefeated. But you have the ability to change, young man, and I wish you the best. And so I plan to make a few other videos about subjects related to the Passport Brothers movement. And I want to keep some positive momentum going. And, and I want it to be positive for both men and women. And I think that, we can do that. The internet or social media is a hotbed for just negativity. And we have to make a special effort not to become ensnared in that kind of emotional, diatribe, and just speak to uplift those who will listen. All right, I think that's all I have. Hopefully I'll be back again really, really soon. Appreciate this opportunity, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out.